number one, I'm a chiropractor. I'm a naturopath. I'm a clinical nutritionist.
I need to work.
It always kind of goes there. And lastly, I work with state, national, and world-class athletes. So I have a specialty in strength training and have had the opportunity to both coach, assist, and actually take care of quite a few world-class athletes at some of the major events around this country and throughout the world.
Okay.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, you're married.
I am married.
Okay, and how long?
I'm married 19, going on 20 years. Yeah, it's been a good ride.
I love marriage. I do. Okay.
Well, I'm married. Yeah, got to go work.
That's wonderful. And,
Well,
and now I understand that you have 3 children.
I do.
And 2 of them are powerlifters.
Well, 2 of them most certainly are powerlifters. The truth is, the third could also be a powerlifter. She unofficially broke 3 world records her 3rd day in the gym.
How did she unofficially break?
Well, that's a great question. Because to break a world record, you have to actually be in a sanctioned competition. So you have to either be in a national championship or in a world championship.
Okay.
And so she showed up with her big brother, who was ranked number 1 in the world for 7 years in a row. He never officially became a world champion because he played football, and his coaches said, sorry, we need that kind of power on our front line.
Okay.
Or as a fullback. So he's really an extraordinary athlete, got a full ride scholarship and has done very well. Now he's studying to get into medical school. So it's interesting, he never competed in the world championships and so was never found to be, recognize his dream of becoming a world champion, but he is a multi-time world record holder. My older daughter, Ariel, is a 6-time national champion and is a 3- or 4-time world champion. She had quite a fierce competition last year against the Russians. It was pretty amazing.
Okay.
Very interesting to compete against them. Very, very, very interesting group of people.
Why so?
Because the entire week that we were at the competition, I'm a very friendly guy. I like to laugh, I like to be friendly, I like to mingle. And they were very abrupt. And when I said, when I said hello, I would get sneered. They would sneer at me and scoff at me. And so at the end.
I thought that was something that people just, just make up, I suppose, but that actually happened.
No, it very definitely happened. I'm certainly not the only one that would tell you that. Fierce competitors, amazing people. I don't mean to say otherwise, but it was quite interesting because at the end of the competition, my daughter put a whipping on the 2 best Russian lifters
That's all right.
at the World Championship. I mean, she beat him quite handily, and the coach came up and shook my hand, and he got kind of up close and personal in my space, and he said, amazing lifting and amazing coach.
Stupid or something?
I can't do this anymore. I can't do us.
What's wrong with you?
It's not getting it.
You are dealing with pain, anger, a heaviness. It feels like there is no way out. It seems like you are in this by yourself, battling alone. But you are part of one Army family, shoulder to shoulder with a community there to get you through these hard times. There is no shame, no guilt in seeking out help. So if you are struggling, feeling depressed, or even having thoughts of suicide, it is time to talk to someone. Your Army family is committed to finding you the strength and hope you need to rebound from adversity. Because, above all else, our most essential resource is you.
Nowhere in the corridors of pale green and gray, nowhere in the suburbs, in the cold light of day. There in the midst of it, so alive and alone, words support like bone, dreaming of Mercy Street, where you're inside out, dreaming of mercy.
So I was a little rascal when I was young. I had paper routes, and I cleaned buildings for elderly people that were too tired, too weak, and I went shopping for them. I was really pretty industrious and quite a little entrepreneur. I routinely would get a peach pie, apple pie, blueberry pie that was 2.5 to 3 pounds, and yes is right, and I would eat it on the way home. And my mom, or if I didn't have time to eat it on the way home from my paper route, I would hide it under my bed and I would eat my dinner, and then that would be my dessert. And I did that very often. Yeah, very often. Well, I started to have some health problems, and started to gain weight, didn't feel right. My dad was a diabetic. I thought, I started to have a lot of hypoglycemic issues. So I started to think seriously about my life, and got very, very serious about my life because I could see I was heading in a bad direction. So in 1984, I won the Collegiate State Powerlifting Championships in Michigan. I set 3 state records, and I was poised to be the next national champion.
Okay.
I had a very bad accident that altered my life for the rest of my life. I fell down a flight of stairs. I was attending the University of Michigan, and we had a terrible, terrible ice storm. I was way behind. My head wasn't so much in school like it should have been. I was really on winning this meet. And so I was that guy in the library the day we had one of the worst ice storms in the history of Michigan. And I was sitting there, and this wonderful woman came up and said, "Young man, we really appreciate you wanting to be here. You're the last one here, and we have to close, or we're going to spend the night here." And so I foolishly, they went out the back where it was level. I went out the front, and I looked down the stairs, and I said, "There's no way in the world I'm going to make that." And instead of getting out of my ego, I sat on the top. Instead of sitting on the top step, I decided somehow I'm going to walk down these stairs. And I went from the top in the air to the bottom, fell in this ice storm, was momentarily paralyzed. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. And I don't know how long I lay there, but I can tell you that by the time I finally was able to move again, I had about 1/4 inch of ice covering me. And that would change my life forever, because what happened after that was I didn't have money. I was a poor college kid, and so I lived with this horrific, horrific pain, and never made a comeback to compete again at a national level again, but decided the only thing that had finally helped me was chiropractic care. I was going to be a physical therapist, and it's a wonderful profession, but medicine didn't help me, and physical therapy didn't help me.
Okay.
So I got into chiropractic, and lo and behold, the medical doctor said, "Nelson, look, you are never going to compete again. You're never going to lift again. You will never do anything athletic again. You really need to focus on learning how to walk again."
Yes.
And if you watch me carefully, you can see I still have a limp on my left side.
Okay.
I had a lot of nerve damage, very severe nerve damage. And I later found out that I had fractured my spine in 4 places that the radiologists all agreed on, and crushed 2 discs. So for the rest of my life, I have dealt with tremendous pain issues. Well, this really woke me up, and it helped me to really, really focus on what it means to have a high-quality life, because for 12 or 14 years, I really wasn't sure I wanted to live, because I was in so much pain that when I woke up sometimes, I didn't know how I was going to go to the bathroom. I would sit here and I'd lie there and, well, my legs aren't working today. So what it did is it started a particular question, which is, what does it mean to live a holistic life? What does it mean to really live an empowered life? And can I ever do that again? Okay? So nothing seemed to work that was traditional, meaning medicine, physical therapy. I'm not saying it didn't help a little, but it really didn't get me where it needed to be. Right. Every doctor said, well, you got to do surgery. Your discs are crushed, you got horrific nerve damage in the left side of your body, and you have to go in for surgery. That's all it's going to work. And I thought, number one, I don't have money, I don't have insurance, and I'm going to figure this out in a way that leaves me inspired and empowered. Well, I started down that path, ended up going to chiropractic school, which for me was one of the most life-changing events in my life, because it allowed me to reclaim my personal power and to be around a lot of like-minded people that were in and of themselves very, very inspiring, and it helped give me direction. And so it led me down a particular path. So to answer your question, what is holistic living? Holistic living is living in an unbridled, passionate, what can we do to allow us to move forward in the most natural way possible?
Right.
And so we like I do meditation, I do a lot of prayer, and I exercise basically every day. And I get a massage once or twice a week, and I get chiropractic care twice a week, and I eat a very, very, very clean diet, because I know that if I don't, even on the, if we want to take the short side of it, which is that I get increased inflammation, which leads to tremendous pain, and I can't function. And I love my family, and I love to do things with them. They're really kind of my life. And so if I go down that path, even sometimes if I cheat and have a dessert here or there, I'm in so much pain from the increased inflammation that I can't function and have fun.
That still happens today.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So everyone in the household is doing the chiropractic work, eating organic, and gluten-free, I'm sure.
My littlest one is fighting me a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so everyone is involved. That's how you, so everyone is on board.
Yeah,
Everyone's
here's
agreeing except for the 14-year-old.
She's getting there because she realizes, for example, that if she eats a particular way and takes certain whole food supplements, then her skin is much more clear. And as a very, very beautiful young woman, she likes to have her skin clear.
Yes, and I know you love your children.
I do very much.
I know you do.
Now, I'm just curious.
Please.
When you say clean diet,
Yes.
what does that mean?
What it means is, for example, whenever possible, I have whole food. I don't eat genetically modified food. I don't eat irradiated food. I don't eat microwave food.
In other words, it's going to be fresh.
That's right.
Okay. Organic, most likely.
That's
okay.
right.
You try to as much as you can. You can't get to it, but it has to be fresh. Nothing from a can, nothing from a box, nothing from nothing frozen. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
A strong woman can handle any challenge,
but it's going to take a force of women to defeat lung cancer.
The #1 cancer killer of women in our country.
Too many of our mothers, sisters, daughters, and friends are losing their lives. So we've joined the American Lung Association's Lung Force.
Because we need all of us
to fight for better early detection and more treatments and create new hope.
Will you join the force
and help save women's lives? Fight lung cancer in women at lungforce.org.
Lifestyles. We're here to answer Coach Wesley's questions.
Okay. Now, Nelson, you were sharing with us some changes that you made in your life.
Right.
And my question to you is, how is it one goes about implementing those changes or living a holistic life?
That's a really, really good question. And here's why it's so good. Because the truth is that most of the time when people come into my practice, a lot of them they've heard of the concept of what holistic living is. And it's like saying to them, how do you fix your computer when it breaks? We use them, we don't know how to fix it.
Right.
Yeah. And so Wesley, what I like to do is I like to interview them. I like to find out, where are you? What do you know? How do you eat? And so what I do is I have them fill out a food journal. And so I look at what they're actually eating, what they're drinking. And I'll make comments initially like, okay, you're drinking half a gallon of soda a day. How about we begin to get some water in there?
What about their schedule, their daily living? Some people they're not able to busy lives.
Right.
So you fit that in there as well?
Yeah, you sure do. What you do once again is you find out what they're doing, and then here's the key. Here's the key to your question. You find a way to gradiently move them forward in a desired direction. Okay. So for example, I get some 45-year-old CEO of a great company. He comes in, he says, "Nelson, I've got kidney stones. What in the world can I do?" Because I went to the medical doctor. They did a procedure where they crushed the stones, and they said, "Yeah, this is going to be like urinating glass for the next days." Whoa. And yeah, it's bad.
Yes, it is.
And right, and then they'll come back.
So
they don't have to come back. Not in many cases if you do the right things.
Right.
So for example, I said to him, "How much water are you drinking?" And he said, "Well, I don't really drink water." I said, "Well, what? Yeah, but this is not uncommon with it. It's not uncommon." And so I said, "Well, you don't drink any water?" And he said, "No, not really." I said, "Well, what do you drink?" And he said, "Well, I like beer. I like coffee. I like, Southern tea."
Yes.
So I like my sweet tea, lots of sugar.
All that sugar.
Yeah. And I said, "Okay, all right. So look, here's what we're going to do. how about if we somehow find a way for you to drink 2 bottles of water, where we have high-quality spring water a day. Now, that may not sound like very much.
How many ounces are you talking about?
Well, I mean, at least 12.
12 ounces, so 24 ounces.
Yeah, at least 12.
Okay.
So you take a standard bottle of Evian or Fuji or Nair or Poland Springs or something like that, and you start them where they can begin.
Where they are.
Because the truth is, you know, I've been to the gym, for example, many times as somebody that's trained for many, many years. And 2 weeks ago, I was watching this personal trainer, and she was training this young woman who had a neurological deficit, couldn't walk well, and she had her doing lunges to the point where she collapsed. And she was so incredibly embarrassed that not only did she collapse while she was doing her lunges, she couldn't get up by herself. So she was horrifically embarrassed and kind of found an awkward way to remove herself from the floor. So from experiences like that, I learned that you have to find where you can enter a person's life and comfortably make changes.
Now, I've had people to tell me when we talked about just making some changes, I can't afford the organic foods or what have you. I'm on a fixed income or whatever.
Right.
But I don't pay $7 for a meal. I go to the dollar menu, so to speak, and I may get 3 items or whatever. And then my lifestyle is so crazy, I don't have time to prepare the foods and so forth.
So meanwhile, I think, how can I put this? It's that mindset that they have where I call it brainwash, let's just say. You know, this is what I have. I mean, you know, I have to eat something, but they're not looking on whatever's in that hamburger and how it was prepared and where it came from.
True.
You know, and meanwhile they're killing themselves softly. You know, I mean,
Right.
that's how,
No, you're right.
you know, that's how I'm looking at it.
But now here's the question, though. You're saying organic, and I understand.
As much as you can.
As
That's
much
right.
as you
As much
can.
as you can.
Yeah.
So is it okay? And I know we're getting ready to take another break in just 3 months. But is it so bad that I don't necessarily eat organic oranges if I just do the regular oranges that are in the store right now because that's where my budget is? I just eat those.
I think I'm going to answer your question this way. You want to find whatever your income is, wherever you are in life. You're going to look for that happy medium, that point that, as I mentioned, that you can begin. For example, salad greens are not that expensive.
No.
Organic beans are not that expensive.
No.
Great protein source, great for fiber. So you know, grass-fed beef, holy cow. You know, filet mignon grass-fed beef is $30 a pound.
You're right.
That's expensive for me.
Yes.
I gave it up.
Okay.
So you're both right. You want to find how you can begin to make changes that are most suitable for your unique problem or your unique challenges.
Native Americans' legacy of military service for the United States Navy dates back to the Revolutionary War. Since then, they've continued to contribute their fighting spirit and warrior ethos to defend America's national interests. Join the Navy and the nation during Native American Heritage Month from November 1st through November 30th in recognizing Native Americans who have served and are serving their country.
Western medicine, and there's a good reason for that. Yes. We can't live in a modern society without Western medicine. No question about it. If I get in a bad accident, I want the best medical doctors to help bring me back to life.
Right.
Okay? And then we have this growing community that deals with how can we live in a way that we minimize the need for medicine. Now, my distinction about the two is simply this. Medicine, as we traditionally know it, is outstanding for crisis care, or in some cases, severe chronic care, where, for example, somebody's in tremendous pain, they had a bad accident, they need particular medications and strategies to help them handle severe pain that maybe was traumatically induced. So my humble opinion is this: we need to find a way to get more and more overlap between these two camps.
Marry them, put them together.
We need to marry, yes, we're going to merge or marry them. That's right. Now, I read a fantastic statistic that just was one of those statistics that sort of made me, yeah, exactly, jump back and say, wow. And that was this: British Medical Journal said that by the year 2025, as I recall, that those people that were born at 2000, year 2000 and beyond, 50% of them, 50% will live to be 100, 50% of them will die before their parents. In other words, earlier in life before their parents. Yeah. And so the speaker asked a very interesting question. I knew the answer right away, not because I'm so smart, but because it immediately jumped out at me, and that was this. He said, so why in the world would 50% of the people live to be 100, and then 50% die before their mom and dads? And I mean by age, not necessarily literally before them. And so the answer to me was very simple. I said to myself, well, of course, because there's a growing, thank you, Coach West. There's a growing body of people in the world that are seeking to live holistically. Meaning their perspective is, let's do everything that we can to take care of ourselves so we don't have a need to, have all of these more harsh interventions, dealing with long-term medicine and so forth.
Right. If you take care of yourself now, doing the right things now, you won't need some doctor telling you, oh, you got cancer. Right. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it.